You are Locked On Nuggets Postcast, powered by Mile High Sports, part of Locked On Sports Denver on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
The Denver Nuggets getting the job done, taking down the Los Angeles Clippers, or should I call them the Los Angeles on Papers. Your final score in this matchup in Game 7, 120-101. The Denver Nuggets dominate the Los Angeles Clippers, in particular in the second half. And plenty to talk about on tonight's Locked On Nuggets postcast. I am your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. And tonight's episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast is brought to you by our friends over at DoorDash. Guys, be sure to check them out. Always a good time with our friends over at DoorDash. A little bit more from them here in just a little bit. But man, oh man, what a game. The first half could not have been more different than the second half. And Denver is able to get out with a Game 7 victory, which sets up for what should be an incredible second-round series against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'll give you my predictions on that series and my thoughts on that later on in the show before we wrap up. But let's talk about this win here tonight. And where do we start? I mean, it was a weird game because neither Nikola Jokic or Jamal Murray really shouldered the load tonight for the Denver Nuggets. That's kind of the simplest way to put it. It was a good team victory. It was a legacy game, though, for Christian Braun, who popped off with 21 points tonight, 1 point behind Aaron Gordon for the team lead. So 21 for CB. He adds in 5 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal as well. Love to see that. And as I mentioned, Aaron Gordon with 22 points of himself, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, a steal, a block. Good stuff across the board from Aaron Gordon. But why don't we get into our little turning point here real quick?
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
I mean, it's got to be the turning point that is the way that Denver came out in that third quarter, because it was pretty close there going into halftime. Denver actually did have a pretty good second quarter as well. They scored 37 points, but Denver outscored 26-21 in the first, and then, make it a game there in the second, outscoring the Clippers 37-21. And even though they only scored 2 less points, rather, I should say, than they did in the second quarter, in the third quarter, they outscored the Clippers 35-19. And this was a narrative that we had heard going around about this series leading into Game 6, about if Denver can go out there and punch the Clippers in the mouth early in Game 6, the Clippers might just roll over and die. And Denver didn't necessarily, well, they obviously didn't do it in Game 6. They didn't do it in Game 7 until the third quarter, following up that really strong second quarter to go out there and put up 35 points in outscoring. The Clippers only had 19 in the third quarter. At that point, you felt like the Nuggets were safe. You felt like this game was in the bag. And first half, I'm sitting here like Jokic's body language doesn't look great. Jamal, like, what are we doing here? But that second half, and in particular that third quarter, really was the jolt that Denver needed to lock this game down, lock this series down, and advance to the next round of the NBA playoffs. So great third quarter across the board from Denver here tonight. I mean, looking at some of the other numbers, the Clippers were an absolute no-show from three-point land. They only made 8 3-point shots on 27 attempts. That's good for under 30%, 29.6% to be exact. The Nuggets, solid from three-point land, 11 for 29, 37.9%. I mean, and there were some big threes made by multiple different players throughout the course of this game for Denver, folks. I mean, Michael Porter Jr. had some big ones in the second half. He was a team high MPJ, plus 31 in the box, plus minus, 3 of 8 from 3 from MPJ. As I mentioned, a Christian Braun legacy game, 3 of 5 from 3 for CB as well. And Russell Westbrook, off the bench. He's been good, folks. I understand that he's bad in some spurts, but Russell Westbrook, he's been good for this Denver Nuggets team. The Denver Nuggets do not win this series without Russell Westbrook. Let's come out and put that on the table right now. The Game 1 victory and some good moments in the rest of the games there throughout. He finishes tonight, does Russ, 16 points, a plus 6 in the box, plus minus, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 steals for Russell Westbrook. So what a game from Russ. And he had a quote after the game. I'm not sure if it was in his interview or just overheard in the locker room talking about they picked the wrong player in regards to the Clippers. And you know what's funny about Russell Westbrook? He has ended the Clippers season now 2 years in a row. last year playing for Los Angeles and this year playing for Denver. So you got to love it from Russell Westbrook, man. What a nice game from him. And really, like I said, not the type of game that I expected from Denver. I expected more from Nikola Jokic. I expected more from Jamal Murray, not in a bad way, but like if you would have told me, like I've done podcasts before, I think I said it at the end of my Game 6 podcast. How did the Denver Nuggets win Game 7? I would have said it's the Jokic and Murray two-man game exploding. That was my thought. I thought Jokic was coming out for a legacy game tonight just because I think he hasn't been nearly as good as he could be throughout the course of this series. I mean, he has had a couple of good spots, but like not like that MVP ultra jaw-dropping level from Nikola Jokic that we're accustomed to seeing. And for Jamal Murray, you know, he had the big game in Game 5 at home, 40-plus points, right? So you're kind of expecting that. Started out hot in Game 6, cooled off at the end of that game. So I expected a little bit of a bounce-back performance in the scoring department from Jamal. We didn't get that tonight, but they didn't need it because the Denver Nuggets played excellent complimentary basketball. 100%. Aaron Gordon, like I said, leading the team tonight with 22 points. MPJ with that banged up shoulder, 15 points. Jokic with 16 and 10 and 8, so within spitting distance of a triple-double. So he does his thing, right? Christian Brown, as I mentioned, 21, 5 and 4. Jamal, 16, 5 and 2. And then you throw in Russell Westbrook along the way. And here's another thing that maybe will get a little glossed over in this game. The non-Jokic minutes in the second quarter were actually pretty good. And that's where you kind of hold your breath. Jokic had 5 fouls before the fourth quarter even started. And thankfully, Denver had a big lead at that point. But that's where you're kind of like, uh-oh, right? Like a little PTSD from last year with Minnesota of like, Jokic got 5 fouls. This isn't going to happen again, right? But, you know, I think you go back to those non-Jokic minutes in the second quarter that really helped Denver pad their lead and really put this game out of reach for the Los Angeles Clippers. I mean, all in all, it was outside of the first quarter, like once we got to midway in the second quarter, you started to feel better about the Nuggets. But by the time we got midway through the third quarter, you felt like this game, logically, your gut would tell you that this game was over. Emotionally, like I said, you're probably sitting there shaking a little bit just because of what we've seen from Denver just last year against the Minnesota Timberwolves. But the boys led by as many as 35 points tonight. They cleaned up on points in the paints, outscored the Clippers there 66-58, cleaned up in fast break points 24-19. And another key, less turnovers in the Clippers. They had 12, so you want to see them trim that down a little bit, but the Clippers ended up having 15. And so, you know, a lot of the statistics that I look for in Nuggets wins, points in the paint, fast break points, total turnovers, 3-point shooting percentage, rebounds. Denver won all of those tonight. They out-rebounded the Clippers 46-36 as well, so a nice victory for them there in the rebound department. And, you know, the Clippers are who we thought they are, or who we thought they were. My boy Jake Shapiro put it out, like, you know, you could change the logo, you could change the arena, you could change the owner, you can change the roster. The Los Angeles Clippers are who they are, folks. And that's why my official prediction for this series was Nuggets in 7, because I knew that the Nuggets would stumble along the way. They're not as good as they were 2 years ago. They weren't as good as they were last season. And the Clippers are a good team. They are. Kawhi played great in Game 2. James Harden played great in Game 1. But what does James Harden do when the lights are the brightest, folks? What James Harden is probably on a flight back home, getting ready to go party or do something. We know what James Harden likes to do in his free time. And James Harden was a no-show tonight, which, again, is not surprising. I mean, his point total was like 21, 22 and a half points, I think I saw. He finished with 7. 7 points for James Harden. He's a great regular season player. He was great at the end of this regular season as well, but James Harden is who we know he is. He is not a playoff riser. He's a playoff shrinker. James Harden does not rise to the occasion in the playoffs, folks. So Denver did not. I think that's the other thing that I need to take away from this game. The Nuggets did not beat themselves. We have seen the Nuggets beat themselves before. They did not beat themselves today. Interesting, kind of weird first quarter, but I don't think the Clippers, even though they scored, 30-plus points in the first? Or no, the Clippers scored 26, rather. But like weird body language, weird vibes I was getting from both teams early on in this game, and then Denver was able to pull away with great complimentary basketball across the board. So, love to see it. For everyone watching on YouTube, man, appreciate y'all. If you could do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. This is not the last show of the season. We've got at least 4 more shows, at least, and I frankly think we're going to have 7 shows. So, we'll see. But all in all, man, what a victory tonight for the fellas, 120-101. as the Denver Nuggets are victorious in Game 7. Unfortunately, for the Colorado sports fans out there, we cannot say that about the Colorado Avalanche, as they blew a 2-0 third period lead, and they lose to the Dallas Stars 4-2 in their respective Game 7. So it was a crazy day. Dueling Game 7s in Denver sports. The Avalanche don't get the job done, but the Nuggets do. And, of course, this is your Locked On Nuggets postcast, 120-101, your final score. Let me hit my break. When we come back, let's shift some thoughts over to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I've got some thoughts. I've got some opinions. We'll break it down when we come back right here on your Locked On Nuggets postcast. All right, you guys, real quick, let me tell you about our friends over at DoorDash. NBA fans, you know what time it is. It's playoff season, meaning big performances and even bigger rewards. DoorDash is bringing the heat with a slam dunk deal for DashPass members during the 2025 NBA playoffs. It's called They Swoosh, You Score. Anytime a player drops 50 or more points in a playoff game, DashPass members score a free 3-piece crispy tender combo from Wingstop the very next day. Just place an order of $20 or more, use the code Wingstop50 at checkout, and that combo is yours. Crispy, delicious, and totally free. Offer valid noon to midnight the day after the game. Terms, they do apply. So here's the play, guys. Sign up for DashPass to unlock this and more exclusive deals all season long. When any player scores 50-plus points in a playoff game, DashPass members can grab a free 3-piece crispy tender combo from Wingstop the next day with a $20 plus order, and a code Wingstop50. That's DashPass, your door to more savings, more flavor, and more ways to win. Terms apply. Be sure to check out our friends over at DoorDash. And let me also tell you about our friends over at Amazon Fire TV. Did you know your Fire TV is also an Xbox? Turn any TV into your gaming and entertainment hub with Fire TV Stick 4K devices. No console required. Just grab your paired controller, subscribe, or sign in to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play included, and you're ready to play. Dive into hundreds of premium titles from EA Sports College Football 25 to Call of Duty Black Ops 6 and Avowed, as easily as you stream your favorite shows. It's gaming made simple, and it's all on your Fire TV. And with 4K streaming, watch more than 1.5 million movies and TV episodes from your favorite subscribed services like Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus, Max, and more. And you can play high-quality Xbox games at a fraction of the cost of a console. Already have a console? A Fire TV Stick 4K device is more affordable and easier to travel with, allowing you to take your games wherever you want to plug in. Guys, I love gaming. I'm an Xbox guy as well. This is an awesome promotion, awesome thing from our friends over at Amazon. Head to amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On. That's amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to get started. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription and compatible controller are required. Available on select devices, including Fire TV Stick 4K 2nd Gen, Fire TV Stick 4K Max 1st and 2nd Gen, and Fire TV Cube 3rd Gen. Check out our friends over at Amazon Fire TV and let them know that Locked On Nuggets sent you. All right, welcome on back into your Locked On Nuggets postcast. I'm your host, Aniello Piro. You guys can follow me on social media at Media by AP. Do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. That way, you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast, broadcasting live from the friendly confines of Ball Arena as the Denver Nuggets take down the Los Angeles Clippers, 120-101, your final score in a do-or-die Game 7. A complete complimentary victory across the board for Denver. Kawhi put up 22 points, but it was not enough. As we mentioned, James Harden, a no-show. What else is new? And really outside of that, not a whole lot cooking for the Los Angeles Clippers. They did a good job of holding, the Nuggets did Nick Batum at bay, Chris Dunn at bay, Norman Powell, 9 points. So all in all, it is a good dub. It's a good day to be a Denver Nuggets fan. And now it's time for the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is going to be one heck of a matchup. And I understand that Oklahoma City was the best team in the NBA by a country mile. And they've got SGA, who's going to be the league MVP. And they smashed the Grizzlies in 4 games. But what has Oklahoma City as a franchise accomplished in the playoffs? What did Oklahoma City as a franchise last year with SGA playing extremely well? What did they accomplish in the playoffs last year? Look, I'm not going to come out here and say that Denver is a lock to win this series. I think there's one scenario in which the Nuggets can go out there and beat the Thunder in the second round. And that's Nuggets in 7. And that's my prediction. Nuggets in 7. Nuggets in 7. The old rest versus rust argument conversation comes up now. Or Oklahoma City's had a handful of days off after sweeping the Memphis Grizzlies. So Denver, look, they can, if they lose both the first two games in Oklahoma City, it's going to be tough sledding. So Denver has got to try to figure out a way to beat Oklahoma City. They got to split. That's got to be the goal. Much like the Clippers did in this series. They came in, they lost game one to the Clippers, and they came back and won game two. Obviously, they weren't able to win the series. But that is the recipe here for Denver if they want to be able to compete in this series and have a chance to win this series against the Oklahoma City Thunder. You have got to go out there and do what they did in the regular season. Split the games in Oklahoma City. They split the season series. Denver won 2, the Thunder won 2. And remember, the first game of the year was against Oklahoma. It was weird. They played OKC twice very early in the season. Let me pull this up for you. And yeah, the first game of the year, they lost to Oklahoma City, got blown out 102-87. Okay, I'll pass that off as first game. Got to get back in the flow of things. Jokic had a triple-double. That was on October the 24th. Then they played the Thunder again on November the 6th at home, and they beat them by 2 points, 124-122. And then they didn't play each other again until almost, not towards the, I guess it was towards the end of the season, but like not right at the end of the season. They played them at the beginning of March, middle of March. Denver lost the first game 127-103. That was that Sunday matinee on ESPN. And then on the second night of a back-to-back, they beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 140-127. So they split the 4 matchups this year. So you're feeling pretty good about that. And I know they lost that first game in Oklahoma City pretty bad, 127-103. But Denver was in that game till midway in the third quarter. And they kind of rolled over and it was over. So I'm not going to read too much into that final score. Denver was competitive in that matchup. And then, of course, on the second night of the back-to-back, the harder game to win, with Oklahoma City being as dominant as they have been at home, Denver responds 140-127. So here's where I'll end. We had a Jokic quarter in this game where he put up in the third quarter. He finished with 21 rebounds in game 5, or no, was that game 4 against the Clippers? We have not seen prime apex predator Nikola Jokic so far this playoffs outside of a few spurts, but we haven't had like a complete Jokic game yet. Jokic came out in the middle of the season. I want to say this was mid to late March, and was asked about the MVP race. And his answer was something along the lines of, well, I think I'm playing the best basketball in my career. And Jokic is a stoic character. He's never going to tell you how he's really feeling. But the fact that Jokic came out and said that he believes he's playing the best basketball of career, translation to me is, I feel like I should win the MVP. And I think Nikola Jokic is going to have a renewed fire. I think the Nuggets are going to have a renewed fire. And I think the Nuggets are going to do everything in their power, Jokic particularly, to go out there and show why Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world, why Nikola Jokic should be the MVP, and why they have a chance to win this series. There's over 6-1 underdogs. Think about that for a second. Plus 610 is the number that I saw on the open. So Vegas is counting the Nuggets out in this game. I think it's steeper than the Knicks and the Celtics. Put it in perspective. This is a team with championship DNA. This is a team with Jamal Murray relatively healthy. Michael Porter Jr. should be getting healthier. Aaron Gordon's been reliable. And Nikola Jokic hasn't even woken up yet. So if you think that this is Thunder in 4 or Thunder in 5, I think it's going at least 6. I know I'm in the minority. There's a lot of my colleagues here in the media that disagree, but that's how I feel. So Nuggets in 7 is my official prediction. Get your popcorn ready. It's going to be an exciting series starting up here in just a couple of days. So with that, I will leave you on this Saturday evening. Go out there and enjoy it, folks. You can follow me on social at Media by AP. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button as well. That way you guys never, ever miss an episode of your Locked On Nuggets postcast. Denver gets the job done in Game 7, taking down the Clippers in blowout fashion. 120-101 your final score. Oklahoma City coming up next. Enjoy your Saturday night, folks. Talk to you after Game 1.